Please stand for the playing of the national anthem and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to introduce Chaplain Gary Rogers for the invocation.
Let me say simply that the program has me as the chaplain of Bowling Springs Fire District in Greenville. I am that, but I also have the privilege of serving as the chaplain for the South Carolina State Firefighters Association. And as such, I'm your chaplain in a sense, and I count it an honor to pray over you today. Join me if you will. Heavenly Father, we are so very thankful for this day. It is a very exciting, very special day in the lives of each of these graduates, in the lives of their families, and the lives of people who serve alongside of them. What a great day. It's the day you have made, and because of that we rejoice and we are so glad in it. And so, Father, thank you that at the beginning we can honor this country, but we can honor you above all. And so, Father, it is a joy to pray for their protection, for their blessing at the beginning of this time. God, great and new adventures. And, Father, as such, it's an honor to pray the words of Isaiah 43 and verse 2. When you tell us and you promise us in your word that when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, nor shall the flame scorch you, for I am the Lord your God. So I pray that over them today. I pray your blessings over them today. I pray that they would honor you in all of their ways throughout their entire career in the fire service. Father, I pray that even though this is graduation day, that they would always remember that they're just getting started in learning. And there will never be a time, there should never be a time in our life, not only in our career, but not in our life, that we think we know it, that we think we can't learn. So I pray, Father, that they would develop a servant heart, because to be an effective leader must start with an effective servant's heart. Father, your word says in Exodus 18 and 20, that you shall teach them the statutes, the laws, to show them the way that they must walk and the work that they must do. Father, I pray that each of these graduates would understand that the walk is talking about their life, and the work that they do will flow from the life that they live. So, Father, bless this time, bless all the events of this graduation, and bless each one of these for the remainder of their life. And I voice this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Welcome. Good afternoon, family. It's a great day at South Carolina State Fire Academy. My name is Christy Watson, and I consider it an honor to take this opportunity to thank each of you for joining us for this day of ceremony and celebration. Today's a special day as we recognize the accomplishments of these 20 firefighters and as it marks the completion of their first step in each of their fire service careers. I can think of no one more important to share this occasion with than their family, their friends, and their coworkers. This occasion is usually one of several times where we open our site to the public. However, in light of our current pandemic, we ask that you settle for our virtual journey. At this time, I would like to introduce our Academy Superintendent, Dennis Ray.
Well, hello everyone, and definitely want to welcome you to this graduation on behalf of Director Farr, Director of LLR, our State Fire Marshal, Chief Jonathan Jones in the room with us, all the staff of South Carolina State Fire, and all the instructors that poured their hearts out into each one of these recruits. Welcome, and be glad you can be part of this ceremony today. We almost made it to where we had everybody in here for graduation, and then the last increase we just took the time away from us, and we couldn't prepare enough. So we almost had our graduation fully attended for all of our friends and all of our family members, so hopefully we can next time. Recruits, you've been the most challenging recruit school I think we've ever had in the history of the South Carolina Fire Academy, and I'll explain that. 2 times we've had to postpone this recruit school due to COVID, and you endured every bit of it. You stuck together, you showed yourself as a team, you showed the discipline that you need to be able to be here today. There are many folks that started this, and there are many folks that start other recruit schools with us that would love to accomplish what you've accomplished today, but they're not here and you are. And that shows tremendous discipline. As I shared with you when I first met with you, we talked about discipline, and we talked about how this isn't for everybody, and that when you walk across this stage, you're going to earn it. And folks, I can tell you, you have certainly earned it. You have showed your ability to stand up against all odds, even things we never planned on happening, and things beyond our control like COVID, like a pandemic. We made it through it, and here you are today. So certainly want to be one of those to congratulate you. You look so much better, by the way, in your uniforms than our blue Smurf shirts that we give you. So congratulations. You've graduated out of those and made it in here now. We're just glad that you've been a part of that. Again, you deserve it. As the chaplain shared with you, keep in mind there's so many things that you need to take very seriously as you move forward. You'll never stop training. This profession never stops teaching, so you're never going to stop learning. So what we're giving you is a foundation. Our instructors have poured hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, many, many years of their experience into you so that you can be successful. You need to count on your family and keep your family close. You need to count on your mentors that you're going to find in the fire service to help guide you. Understand this is a very physical profession. It's a mentally driven profession. But as our chaplain shared with you, do not forget, it's also a very spiritually driven profession. Do not sacrifice that. Don't sacrifice your family. There's nothing, as great as this profession is, it's the greatest profession in all the world, there's nothing worth sacrificing your family over. So understand and keep that serious, because when you're done and you hang up your boots and you hang up your helmet and hopefully you're sitting happy and healthy in your retirement, it's your family that's still going to be there with you. It's your friends that's going to be there with you. So please make sure you do that. Take care of your body. Keep physical fitness up top. Again, we've given you foundational information. We've given you foundational skills. We've given you functional fitness and things you can use around the firehouse. Keep that paramount and make sure you keep it close to you and continue that. And again, that mental fitness, and continue to take it serious. So congratulations. Pride, honor, integrity, professionalism. Those are 4 things that you got to keep paramount in your career. We've given you a good foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to take it from here and carry on with it. But again, want to congratulate you, and I'm looking forward to sitting on this stage, handing each one of you what you rightfully deserve. We're very proud to be a part of your career. I do get the opportunity of introducing and the privilege to introduce our guest speaker today. He is Deputy Chief Bill Shiver. He began his 40-year career in public safety as St. Stephen's Fire Department as a volunteer in Berkeley County before relocating to the upstate to attend Clemson University. In addition to being a firefighter, much of his career has been spent working as a training officer, paramedic, instructor, and paramedic with FEMA's National Disaster Medical System. For the past 2 decades, he has coordinated and he has served as the operations officer for all of Clemson University's large venue events. And Chief, you got your hands full doing all those events for sure. Today, he serves as the Deputy Chief of Operations for Clemson University Fire and EMS. So, Chief, floor is yours, sir. I'm looking forward to what you have to share with our recruits today. Well, good afternoon, everybody. When I was first called to consider giving this address, there were a number of things that I thought of that I would speak about, and this may be slightly unorthodox in what some people speak on, but I decided I was going to try to speak from the heart as I near the end of my career at the opposite of where you were beginning yours. So, first of all, Fire Marshal Jones, Academy Superintendent Ray, Chief Watson, other staff and attendees, those watching virtually, and of course the graduates. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I am greatly humbled and honored with the opportunity to address you. Just a few years ago, I sat in this very room in the back when we still had in-person graduation. My daughter was a graduate of recruit school. I was representing our department, which was going to be her department, as well as being a father. I never encouraged her to follow me into public safety or to pursue a career on her own, but she did grow up practically living in either EMS or fire stations over her whole life. I will say, first of all, I'm extremely proud of the person, the firefighter paramedic she's become. But that day, as I sat in the back, my mind began to wander in the few minutes before we started, and I started asking myself, why was she here? What was she doing this? As soon as that thought entered my mind, I immediately realized I shouldn't be asking that of her. It's not my right. What I really needed to do was ask myself, Bill, why are you here? What brought you to this point? Well, when I was still in high school a few years ago, I was invited by a friend into St. Stephen's Fire Department. His father was already a firefighter and actually an officer in my hometown. Back then, we didn't have Explorers, and nobody really mattered as long as you were of reasonable driving age and you were able to fight fire. You were a volunteer in this state. As soon as I entered that department, as I was introduced, I was surrounded by average, everyday people. No one was particularly special, but rather everyone was, for the choices they'd made, the skills they had, and what they gave back to their community. I was given a few pieces of PPE, a helmet that by today's standards would be considered mostly plastic, a pair of gloves, and a pair of rubber boots, which only resembled current fire boots in the way they aesthetically looked. Most of the department's bunker coats, unless you were the chief or a couple of senior officers, were folded in a special fashion and tucked between the rungs of the ladder on the side of the engine. And when you showed up to a fire, you just grabbed one. There was no fit. It was just a coat that you wore. There were essentially no bunker pants. We only had 2 air packs. They were in a case in a compartment, and they were there in case they were needed. We didn't think at that time that that was the first thing we should have come off the truck with. We didn't have active 911 or pages. Virtually no one had a radio. Whenever the fire phone rang in our community, the siren on the water tower sounded, and a group of people showed up and went to work. Like everywhere else in this state, actually across this country, the community needed someone, and that someone at that time was us. Each of your communities needs you as well. Whether you're going to pursue a career and or as a volunteer firefighter, now more than ever, your community, our communities need you. As of today, you have taken the first huge step towards filling that need. I pray that you will continue. In the 40 years since I walked into that small rural volunteer fire department, I've had the opportunity to do many things that go many places that I would not have otherwise. I've made my share of mistakes, and I may have even saved 1 or 2 lives along the way. I do know that I have been absolutely blessed immeasurably in many ways by being a member of the fire service. Some of the people that know me well will tell you that when I write an SOG or other document, if 5 pages will do, I tend to write 20. So this is the part of the address, the next 5 pages of all the things I was blessed with and proud of I took out just for your benefit. Looking back, I can't think of a thing I would change. I love my profession and my career, now going to be your profession and your career. So I charge you with the same task I ask of myself. Think of all you've accomplished. You've completed something at which not everyone succeeds. You are the select few who stepped up and have met a challenge, a
especially in the midst of COVID. But why are you here? What has brought you to this point? Life is very, very short. Does this really make you happy? Is this a career or just a job until something else comes along? Because we all know somebody who, if you can't find a job or avocation, they want to become a nurse or a police officer or firefighter just long enough till something else comes along. So what is this for you? We could mention the old platitudes of I want to help people, I want to save lives, or I want to serve my community. Those are all worthwhile. Surely we don't just select the fire service to get the discount at Chick-fil-A, or because of the chocolate chip cookies that the family from down the street brings to the station. No, there's got to be more than that. More than 70% of all responses you will go on only require an investigation and quick mitigation. Most of us, most of you, will probably never have a Hollywood moment in public safety. But I would ask each of you, how much less significant is a lift assist? How much less impactful is teaching children to conduct a home fire drill in your community? Or replacing the batteries for a smoke alarm in a residence? And if helping, saving, and serving is what makes us happy, then how and where do we count those endeavors? The fire service, as has been previously mentioned, is an all-in venture, one of servant leadership and teamwork. Chief John Eversole from the Chicago Fire Department, who has passed along, once made a statement, or is reported to have made this statement. Our department makes 1,120 calls every day. Do you know how many of those calls the public expects perfection on? 1,120. Nobody calls the fire department and says, send me two firemen in a pickup truck. In 3 minutes, they want 5 brain surgeon decathlon champions to come and solve all their problems. The fire service is a place that no matter what I think as a chief officer, I know that you as the firefighters, EMTs, and police officers are those that make our disciplines work together and grow, especially in the times we've experienced in the last 20 years and the next 20 years. You are the ones that rise to meet the challenge first. I get the second alert and then try to look good on TV later. If you don't love the fire service, if you are not happy doing this, then I'm going to challenge you that after the fire is extinguished, there's 1,000 feet of LDH on the ground, you were soaked through to your socks in 27-degree weather, your choice will be a little bit challenging. Maybe I should ask, why would anybody choose the fire service? But we do choose. Many before you, and now you. Our fire chief has started a process in our department of re-engaging with our retirees. They try to meet monthly for breakfast, and he invited them into the station for their meeting earlier this week. The shift on duty did what they always do. They prepared a breakfast that would put a number of restaurants to shame. Among the recollections and camaraderie, one of the retirees asked if we were hiring, and I said, of course, we're always hiring. The state is always hiring. We have a tremendous shortage of those dedicated who love this fire service. He then followed up with, I'm still a volunteer in my local department. I don't do very much as I used to. But if I was able, I would try to come back and do this job for free because I still love all of this. The fire service exists directly out of a need for community service. First, we encounter most of our customers when they're having an unexpectedly bad day. It's important to remember that in everything we do, it's not about us, it's about those we serve with, and those who allow us to serve. I'll briefly call upon the Don of Fire Service Customer Service, Chief Alan Brunacini, in relating to you some expectations of customer service that is on everyone and everything we do. Our essential mission and number one priority is to deliver the best possible service to our customers. Always be nice. Treat everyone with respect, kindness, patience, and consideration. Regard everyone you meet as a customer. Consider how you and your actions appear to others, especially the citizens. And maybe most importantly, don't disqualify the customer with your qualifications. Their need is always larger than your file of certificates. I would also suggest that customer service also has to exist in the station and within each other. We should be much less critical of our coworkers and their decisions. Do we really know what's going on in their life right now? We have to improve the dissemination and communication of information up, down, and laterally. Who should know? Who needs to know? And each of us should focus on the core tasks and responsibilities of our own position first before we start worrying about the person next to us, the person below us, or the person above us. A few thoughts to start a positive and continuing career. Be proactive, regardless of your previous experience when you're new on shift and there will be a new routine. Until everyone gets to know you, they may consider you a liability. Know the tools. If you do not know the tools of your profession, you might as well not have them. Knowing it is understanding its function, becoming proficient in its operation and application, and knowing how to clean and maintain it. PPE is your life. It is designed to protect you from all types of hazards in the workplace. Your personal PPE equipment is your life, and you seldom get a second chance in this line of work to use it. You have to be proficient in donning and doffing and the proper use of protective equipment, not just as you have during the last few weeks during evaluations, but every single day of your life in your future career. You also have to understand the limitations of personal protective equipment in protecting yourself from injury. Everything has a limit. In the fire service, your bunker gear with your respirator must work together. Any single point of improper use or failure may lead to immediate serious injury or death. You have to check it every day, preferably at the beginning and the end of every shift. If it's dirty, clean it. If the cylinder is not full, fill it. You may not get another chance. And don't let complacency interfere with your safety. If you happen to be in a slow department where you're not using your SCBA or other equipment, that's not an excuse for not keeping up with it. Also, dirty gear is not a badge of honor. It was once. It can be the key to a very short career, which ends in a very serious illness. So I'll go one step further. There's a risk that we are still coming to grips with, becoming aware of, and that is cancer in the fire service. Cancer caused 66% of the career firefighter deaths from 2002 to 2019, and you are almost 10 times more likely to be diagnosed with cancer and 14 times more likely to die from cancer than the general population. So what can we do in the face of this daunting thing that is in front of us? First, we have to make yourself aware of the South Carolina Firefighter Cancer Coalition if you are not, along with the Firefighter Health Care Benefit Plan that was signed into law just last year. This law provides our state firefighters with enhanced health care coverage if they are diagnosed with cancer. And we should also take a moment to mention the countless hours of our Firefighters Association staff and members, along with many, many others across the state that work tirelessly to provide this benefit. Not every state has it. Secondly, we need to increase our individual department and awareness and modify our behaviors in some best practices. Full PPE and SCBA has to be worn, including during salvage and overhaul. We should adopt a second hood strategy, a clean station and apparatus strategy. Implement it, seeing gross decon, and shower within the hour strategies, just to mention a few. When you're in the firehouse, you have to learn to use your time wisely. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. But when you are new, you have to choose how to spend your time. There will be time that everything will be on your initiative. During your first year, you have to spend your time learning, exploring, and figuring things out. All of this will dictate how successful you are. I would also be remiss if I didn't briefly mention, and there was not a good segue for this, to mention another thing that faces our profession, and that's firefighter suicide. The facts are that more firefighters die from suicide each year than in the line of duty. In 2019, deaths by suicide represented 30% more fatalities than line of duty deaths. First, we have to acknowledge the sea we swim in. We live in the same sea as the rest of society, and we have a mental health problem in our country. It's essential that we understand that before we dive even into the firefighter world. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for individuals between 10 and 34 in the general population, and fourth leading cause for those 35 to 54. As a backdrop to all of this, we examine the unique set of circumstances that we face as firefighters. We experience the world differently than the civilian population. It's our choice that we make to love this profession, to fulfill it, to work in it for a career. But it comes with a set of challenges, emotional, psychological, that put us at a higher risk for depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and even suicide. So what can we do? Well, I challenged you a few minutes ago to be all in. However, I'm also going to say that if your hobby and leisure activities beyond work and after your shift at your part-time fire and EMS job, if it's more fire and EMS work, you do not have a healthy lifestyle. You have to have a break from the stress and the intensity of this profession. And yet, we are in a culture that we are largely in denial of this. It's considered a weakness. We need to give firefighters permission to open up and talk about what they've gone through or experiencing at any point in their career. We need to be tough on scene, sometimes detached, but exemplify that an emotional reaction to what we see is normal. Expressing those feelings, not repressing them, is healthy. There's a meme that is popular on social media that, and I paraphrase, says something in the order of, I would rather answer the phone and listen to your story in the middle of the night than attend your funeral. Does that include you? Are you prepared to listen to a coworker in need? Or maybe I would also ask, at some point in your career, will you have the strength and the courage to make that call yourself, to ask for help, and look for an ear? So what comes next? Well, my daughter I alluded to before found out that I was giving the keynote address, and she said, well, Dad, congratulations, I'm proud of you. But everyone in the room is ready to go home at this point. Say what you got to say and get off the stage. So I have just a few last things I'll mention. Take pride in our career. Train as a perpetual student, however, do not race to fill a 6-inch binder with your certificates. Take time to truly learn what you were taught through application and experience. Seek out mentors and those that are old like me that might have something to offer to you before you move on to the next course registration. Watch out dearly for the 220 syndrome. If you're not familiar with that, it's what happens when you have 2 years of experience, but you act like you have 20. Learn building construction and how to read smoke. It makes a tremendous difference in our decision-making and the application of our skills. Understand also that answering that original question of, so why are you here, is not a one and done. It is dynamic, like you, the job, and life in general. My answer has changed over the years, and asking and answering that question for yourself should continue throughout your career. Search by yourself, for yourself. Do not allow others to make your path for you. It is your road and yours alone. Others may walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you. It's your answer, not theirs. It's your reason, not theirs. And last but not least, as you work in our profession, you will come upon people who have lost their path. We need to be tolerant of those. There are negative emotions. We could list several that stem from a person with a lost soul in the performance of our profession. Don't join them. Let them see you as a positive example and pray that they will find guidance and return to loving our career. I would last say congratulations once again on your accomplishment today, and thank you again for allowing me just a few moments to speak to you.
Okay, so I'm sure many of you have been wondering exactly what your loved ones and friends have been doing these last 8 weeks. Well, just as with anything you build, you have to start with a good foundation. The knowledge and skills that these students have learned in the past 8 weeks will serve as the foundation on which their fire service careers are built. Today's firefighters are no longer just fighting fires. They are expected to respond competently and efficiently to all types of emergency and non-emergency situations in their communities. Emergency calls may range from EMS, hazardous materials, natural disasters, technical rescue, and vehicle crashes. Non-emergency calls often include installing smoke alarms, presenting fire education programs in schools and in communities, as well as residential home surveys. Preparing future firefighters for the demands of today's fire service takes a great amount of training, including skill development and theoretical exploration. The South Carolina Fire Academy instructors have been preparing these recruits to meet the needs of the citizens in the communities they will serve and protect. This recruit class started on January the 10th with 22 recruits. And over the past 8 weeks, they have logged over 350 hours of training, both virtually and traditionally, not to mention countless hours of study times. The remaining 20 have earned certifications in 12 fire service fields. The South Carolina Fire Academy Recruit Program is one of the most structured and comprehensive programs our academy has to offer. It's a challenging program, mentally and physically, as well as an experience I'm sure the recruits will not soon forget. However, in case they do, our media specialists have prepared a slideshow that will refresh their memories. This slideshow captures some of the highlights of their training over the past 8 weeks. There are many people involved in this program that help make it a success. And ultimately, it's through the hard work and commitment of the students that they're truly the ones that make the program a success. In each class, we recognize 3 individuals who have shown leadership traits, displayed an attitude that reflects positively on what the fire service represents and for academic achievement in the classroom. At this time, I would like to have Chief Ray, Chief Jones, and Chief Shiver come forward to help present these awards. The 3 awards being presented today are the Chief Robert Frick Award, the Order of the Maltese Award, and the Pride of the Battalion Award. After the individual awards are presented, we will award the graduation certificates. All right. So number 1, the Chief Robert Frick Award is presented to the student with the highest grade point average at the conclusion of this 8-week recruit program. This is a very significant award as it stands for academic excellence in the classroom during the program, in addition to long days in the field. The award is named for Battalion Chief Robert Frick, who began his fire service career with the City of Columbia Fire Department and rose to the rank of battalion chief. Chief Frick was also one of the first part-time instructors at the newly created Fire Academy in 1973. Chief Frick dedicated himself to the fire service, exceeding 30 years of service to both the Columbia Fire Department and the South Carolina Fire Academy. He often worked 7 days a week to serve the citizens and firefighters as a leader, a teacher, and a mentor. Chief Frick had passion for learning and teaching. He taught many firefighters, fire officers, and fire instructors the skills for our job, but most importantly, he taught us how to be better men and women to those we work with and serve. Chief Frick retired from the Columbia Fire Department in 1996, but worked with the Fire Academy until just before his passing from cancer in 2004. His work and dedication meant so much to past students and Fire Academy staff that the award for the highest grade point average presented at each recruit program is named in his honor. Because just as Chief Frick dedicated his life for our state's fire service, so did this student dedicate their life for 8 weeks as a recruit to achieve this award. The firefighter receiving this award today is Nathan Tarkenton.
Just wanted to say thank you to all of you. Couldn't have done it without you.
Our second award is the Order of the Maltese Cross Award. The Maltese Cross is the badge of a firefighter. It's a symbol of protection and a badge of honor. It signifies that the firefighter wearing it works with courage and is willing to lay down his or her life for you and fellow firefighters. The 8 points of the Maltese Cross represents the 8 obligations a firefighter is held to. They are live in truth, repent of sins, love justice, be sincere and wholehearted, have faith, give proof of humility, be merciful, and endure persecution. In each class, the recruits themselves choose the firefighter that has exemplified these 8 points. The firefighter that the recruits have chosen to receive this award is Jason Proctor.
I just want to say thank you to you guys, everyone in the class. I hope you guys have a long and healthy career.
Okay, the final award being presented is the Pride of the Battalion Award. This award should look very familiar to our recruits. This is the flag that the battalion carried with them at all times. The flag symbolizes teamwork and camaraderie. Whether assembled for inspection or training in the field, the flag was taken with them and kept proudly visible for all to see. The recipient of this award has demonstrated the following characteristics throughout the 8 weeks of recruit school: dependability, dedication, enthusiasm, knowledge, and initiative. This recipient has been chosen by the instructor staff that works with the recruit program and has observed these leadership traits being displayed on a daily basis. The firefighter receiving this award is Britton Beatson.
just want to say thank you, guys. Love you all.
It is at this time that we will award the graduation certificates. Jordan Barrow. Britton Beatson. Matthew Brown. Matthew Charnock. Sebastian Cologne. Bradford Dawson. Nicholas Demuses. Carson Eckhart. Christopher Ellington. John Esposito. Brandon Evans. Jerome Foy. Valentino Guerrero. Darian Hare. Daniel Norton. Jelani Prince. Jason Proctor. Caroline Shreve. Lucas Sosa. Nathan Tarkenton.
And once again, congratulations. If you will, join me in prayer. Father, what a proud day. Prideful in a good way, not in a destructive pride, but in that of what wonderful accomplishments these men and women have done. So, Father, to you be the glory. Thank you for your presence with us today. Bless and watch over and protect. I pray that each one of these would always keep the excitement, even on the tough times, even on the tough days and tough nights, the challenging times. I pray that they would have deep inside of them the excitement and the passion that they have today. I pray that they would not fall under the influence of someone that would try to steal their joy or try to turn them into someone who's negative. Father, there's no more room for that. And so, Father, bless them to always keep that excitement and that passion within them. And, Father, as we bring this time to a close today, I want to close in the words of the firefighter's prayer. When I'm called to duty, God, wherever flames may rage, give me the strength to save some life, whatever be its age. Help me embrace a little child before it is too late, or save an older person from the horror of that fate. Enable me to be alert and to hear the weakest shout, and quickly and efficiently to put the fire out. I want to fill my calling, Lord, and to give the best in me, to guard my every neighbor and protect their property. And if, according to your will, my life should come to end, please bless with your protecting hands my family and my friends. Amen.
Officer of the day, may I have a par? Battalion, ready, step, about face. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege and honor to present to you the graduating recruit class 1151-22003. There are no more assignments at this time. You have met the standards set forth by NFPA 1001 for Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2. Battalion, you are dismissed.